Looking for interesting player-coach interviews from Western Illinois University? Sports Genius is the show for you. I ask all of the questions fans want to know, and you'll be surprised with some of the answers you hear. So sit back, relax, and enjoy watching the Sports Genius. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Sports Genius. I'm your host, Bryant Lucas. I have special guests on the show today. I have WIU men's basketball coach, Wade Hokanson, and also point guard, Jabari Sandifer. How's it going, guys?
It's going well. Good to be here.
It's going good, yeah.
Thanks for making an appearance on my show. I hope the fog outside didn't get you all lost on the way.
No, we managed to make it.
Awesome. Coach Hokanson, I'm going to start off with you. Last year was a tough season for the Leathernecks. They finished 10-20. Tell me over the offseason, what has the team improved on?
Well, I think when you look at last year, it was a tough season in terms of when you look at our record. But I think we planted a lot of seeds last year in terms of our freshmen coming in and working hard and setting a culture where they have to figure out what it takes to win at the Division I level. When we went 22-9 and won the league the year before, we had 4 seniors which graduated, and we brought in 3-4 freshmen and a sophomore. So we were playing with a lot of young guys, and I think to say it's a tough, it was a tough season, but I like to say it was more of like a freshman-like season where we were very competitive until the end, and then just I think other teams' experience would take over at the end of games. But some of the things that we've added in the offseason, we've done a tremendous job of adding strength and conditioning. Coach Grammer's done a really good job with their guys. We've also gotten healthy. Remy Roberts Burnett is now healthy. Tate Stensgaard is still recovering and getting healthy from his knee surgery over the summer. And then we've added a lot of depth with recruiting. We got a lot of guys that can play different positions. So those are some of the things I think that will help this year.
Talk about the inexperience factor. I know you mentioned that maybe 5 minutes left in the game, the team would kind of fall apart. So talk about how the team has developed character as far as closing out games.
And that's the whole key. I think when you have a lot of freshmen playing and figuring it all out at the same time, it's going to take a little bit of time for those guys to kind of figure out how to play those last 4 minutes, the mistakes that you cannot make, staying disciplined on your assignments, taking care of the ball, and then just having leadership to end those games. I think those are some of the things that we have added now from that freshman class that are now sophomores and juniors. The leadership, the execution, staying disciplined. Those are some of the things that I think we've added that will help us finish games this year.
The Leathernecks also finished with a 1-13 record on the road. Talk about how the coaching staff has game plan for road games and how. Well, what have you all told your players, to maybe close out games on the road?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we set up last year's schedule to be very difficult because we knew that we were going to have an inexperienced team. And we wanted to test those guys as soon as possible so that when they were sophomores and juniors, that playing on the road wouldn't be as big a deal to them. And I think last year what we saw was, we took a lot of lumps on the road to some very experienced teams. And now all those teams are going to come back to Western Hall this year, and I think you're going to see a different Western Illinois men's basketball team play against some teams that now, we maybe have the experience where they don't. And I think some of the things we've added, again, depth, add a lot of depth, and that, again, when we can play 9 or 10 guys instead of 6 or 7, that's going to help you finish games. We've also, again, got guys that are healthy now, and then just executing at the end of games. We got, Jabari did a tremendous job, especially late in this year last year, of helping the team finish. He started taking care better of the ball. He stepped up, and I guess we could say he asserted himself offensively to kind of in a leadership role to help us finish games last year, especially late in the season. And that's the experience that we wanted to give him early.
What would you say the toughest road loss
Last year,
Yeah.
toughest road loss. Well, of the 13, it's hard to remember them all. But I would say, when we went to North Dakota State, who won our league last year, I think we were down 2 with 4 minutes left, and those last 4 minutes was rough. And I think we ended up losing by maybe 7 or 8 points, and just being right there so close to the team that went to the NCAA tournament, beat Oklahoma in the NCAA tournament. I thought that game showed our potential. But it's also a very hard loss because you want to beat that team that's winning your league at that current time.
Well, this season, the WIU Leathernecks will get their revenge, and hopefully we can turn that road record the opposite, maybe go 13-1.
That'd be great.
It would. Jabari, point guard. Tell me, last season you played all 30 games. You averaged 9 points, 3 assists. You were a freshman. This year, we're all looking forward to you taking that next step. So tell me, what have you done to elevate your game?
I spent a lot of time in the gym over the summer while I was here and while I was at home. I worked with some coaches that I knew from back home as well, and they gave me some advice on things that I should do better. And I think I've developed a lot of better leadership, and I can get other people open and be a leader on the floor. So that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I feel like I've done.
What would you say is your biggest strength?
I'm a playmaker. As far as getting people open, I like passing a lot. That's my thing. And I like to score from time to time, but it's not really the first thing on my mind because I'm a pass first point guard. So
amazing, Coach Hokanson. This upcoming season, Western will have a tough schedule, and they also will play Memphis. So tell me, how have you and Coach Wright game plan for this upcoming season?
I think in terms of game planning for this upcoming season, I think it's just a process. I think, we show up to practice every day with a purpose of what we need to work on and what we need to improve upon. When it comes to our opponents, we can't control them. We can only control us. Mm-hmm. So what we try to control is how hard we work, the energy we bring to practice, and how well we execute. When we're tired. Our league is going to be totally new. 5 new head coaches. We had teams last year with a bunch of seniors. North Dakota State had 6 or 7 seniors, including a couple fifth-year seniors. IPFW finished second, had a bunch of seniors. So our league is going to have a totally new feel for it. It's hard for us to gauge, maybe the style of play of the new head coaches, the players they brought in. So we can't control any of that. All we can control is how we work every day. And I think, again, with the athleticism and the speed and the perimeter scoring, I like our chances. I think we'll match up very well.
Jabari, you were the man in high school. You led your high school team to a 28-3 record, and you were an all-conference player. Tell me, how was that transition from playing at a high school level to a college level? Tell me, what did you go through, and was it hard for you?
Well, I came from a tough program in high school. I felt like my coach was really hard on me throughout my 3 years on varsity. And I felt like transitioning to college was definitely, it was big at first. And once I got adjusted to the speed and the strength, definitely, I feel like I did fine. So. Okay.
Coach Hokanson, what role do you play during the scouting process? And when Jabari was scouted, did he remind you of any NBA player that's currently playing or maybe past?
Well, in terms of, I guess your question to me is, what do we look for when we recruit? And I think some of the things that we look for are character, academics, and then just, speed, athletic ability, and then skill and a feel. And if we can kind of get those things, we might get an undersized post that has great athletic ability but has a skill and a feel, that type of thing. So those are some things that we try to identify. When it comes to Jabari, what kind of player he reminded us, it definitely wasn't Derrick Rose. He can't play like that yet. But to me, maybe Jeremy Lin. Jeremy Lin had that breakout year, just like Jabari did at his high school. Mm-hmm. And then he got traded to Houston, and we all know what happened after that.
Jabari, any comments on that?
No.
So, Coach Hokanson, what are your plans here at WIU? What are your future goals?
My future goal is just to continue to provide our student athletes with the resources they need to be successful, both on and off the court. And if we can provide those resources, then I like our chances of winning another championship.
Jabari, what are your goals here? What's your major, and what do you plan on doing after you graduate?
Well, I'm a business major right now, and after I graduate, obviously I'd like to play overseas or something like that. And if that didn't work out, I'd just pursue another career in business maybe, or in something in sports. Coaching maybe. I'd like to do that. So
okay. Maybe have some tips from Coach
Yeah,
Hokanson?
definitely.
How do you feel about that, Coach Hokanson? Maybe him being a coach.
Jabari, I'd hire him. He's a character guy. He'd work hard for me.
I'm going to ask you all maybe a little bit about your background. Where are
Sure.
you from, Coach?
I'm originally from a small town in Minnesota called Watertown, Minnesota, which is about 40 miles west of Minneapolis.
And you?
I'm from Bolingbrook, Illinois. I went to school in Naperville, but I lived in Bolingbrook, which is like 5 minutes from there, and went to Nuka Valley High School.
What's it like out there?
It's nothing like Macomb, definitely, but it's a lot going on. But I had a lot of fun out there, so it was good.
What do you do for fun out there?
I had a lot of friends. I hung out with my friends a lot, played a lot of basketball and everything like that. So that's pretty much it.
I imagine since you were the basketball star, all the girls were running towards you, and you were pretty much the man out there. How did that feel, being the basketball star?
It was cool. Like, I didn't really let it get to my head or anything, but it was nice, being known around school and everything. So
Seemed like a humble guy. I like that about you.
yeah.
Coach Wade Hokanson, are you a family man?
Absolutely. Got a beautiful wife and 3 kids. I got a daughter that's 6, a son that's 3, and then another daughter that's about 16 months. So things are busy in the Hokanson household.
How does it feel being a father and a husband?
It feels great. There's no greater reward than seeing your kids, grow and develop. And that's one of the reasons I coach too, is because the transition you see from bringing a young man in and getting him from where he is to where he wants to be, and seeing him grow from being a young man into a man that can be a productive member of society. Those are the same joys I get from coaching that I see as being a father and a husband.
What do you plan for your children? What do you want them to maybe grow up to be? Do you want them to be a coach?
Oh, they're definitely playing the NBA. Jack will be in the NBA, starting point guard for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then my daughter Harper will probably be on the Olympic volleyball team at some point in her life. And then Haley, the way she's built, she'll probably be middle linebacker for the Chicago Bears. She's really put together.
Maybe get some tips from Urlacher.
That could be.
Jabari, are you a sports fan?
Yeah, definitely. I like basketball a lot, but I don't really watch anything besides that. So.
What teams do you watch?
I like the Bulls a lot because I'm obviously from around here. I like Cleveland because LeBron's my favorite player. I like watching Kyrie as well, and Damian Lillard's actually my second favorite player, and favorite point guard to watch. So I like watching the Blazers as well.
That guy is clutch.
Yeah, he is.
And he has long range. That guy can shoot lights out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So what player would you say influences you to maybe your style of play? I know you're a playmaker. Maybe, I don't know, Rondo, Steve Nash?
Growing up, Steve Nash is always my favorite player. Like, he has great passes and everything, and he can finish really well, and he can lead a team. So growing up, that was the guy who I watched a lot. So.
Coach, what influenced you to become a coach? And maybe could you tell me a little bit about your path to becoming an assistant coach at WIU?
Yeah, coaching was something that was really never on my radar as I went through school. I was a walk-on at the University of Minnesota and played on the basketball team there for 4 years. And
were you good?
I was pretty average. I was not a great player in the Big Ten. That's probably why we didn't have a winning record, is they had guys like me on their roster. But as I was getting my degree and graduated, and then actually got married right after I got done playing, I was working an internship and I just hated it. And I said, well, what else could I do with my life? And I said, why don't I try coaching? And so I waited for my wife to graduate, and then I took a graduate assistant job at a little NAI school in South Dakota. Then moved to Omaha, was an assistant coach at another NAI school there, and then when Coach Molinari got this job, I reached out to him and was lucky enough to get on his staff with Coach Mo and Coach Wright.
Could you briefly give me maybe a few tips for inspiring coaches on what to look out for, and maybe a little bit of strategies or whatnot they can tell their team?
In terms of like a young coach trying to make it and reach a high level, I think just continue to work hard. Be loyal to your head coach. Work hard. And if the chips fall, they fall. If not, you're still in a game and a job where you love. You have a passion for basketball. You're around the young men, and to me, those are the rewards. The level, it'll come if that's what life has for you.
Mm-hmm.
But even to be a coach, even at the NAI level or Division III level, Division II level, you're still around a game you're passionate about, and you get to be around student athletes.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach Hokanson. Thank you, Jabari, for making an appearance on Sports Genius. And thank you, viewers, for watching Sports Genius. I'm your host, Bryant Lucas. Go Leathernecks.